So we're gonna start this DIY with my new Creativity Organized by Jot from Dollar Tree. So we got 12 of these smaller pieces, and then we got some of these adhesion rinks. So we're gonna start by flipping these over. And I wanna treat these like they are going to act as like one square. So we're gonna start here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put these adhesion rinks on the outside corners. So from there, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to make sure that these stay together. So I'm actually gonna be taking some hot glue and I'm gonna be attaching them. So I got my hot glue, I'm just gonna go across here. I'm not gonna be doing that much because I feel like it'll stay, it's really light. So I think it's gonna have any problem staying together. So actually what we're gonna do is we are gonna do 2 and 2, because essentially what we're gonna be doing is what we're gonna do now is the 2 pieces that are connected all together. I added a couple more of these adhesion rinks kind of throughout, just to add a little more stability once we put all this together. And then I have my 2 separate ones, but I wanted to make sure, you'll see that there are little grooves. And so when you are putting these together, you want to make sure that the grooves match up so it'll all connect together. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side where I put my hot glue. I'm going to connect it to this panel. And I'm using, I'm a big fan of Gorilla Glue sticks, so they stick very quickly. So you got to move fast. So now that these are all together, you'll notice that I actually put these on similar spots, so when we flip it over, it's gonna connect really nicely. So with these adhesion rinks comes these little adhesive pads that you attach. So we're gonna go ahead and place all of these now, and then we'll be back to move on to the next step. So now that I have all of the adhesive pads on, we're gonna peel them back on both sides. What we're gonna do is we are going to flip this over. We are going to press it together. All right, so you can see we have it together on both sides, so it's double-sided. All right, so what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be taking this panel of pegboard squares, and we are gonna be attaching it to this little Lazy Susan I got on Amazon. It's a 9-inch Lazy Susan, it spins around. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to be gluing it in the center. Using my hot glue, but you could also use crazy glue for this stuff. I just want mine to set a little bit faster. So I'm going to first, I'm gonna put the glue on the edges where I want it to go. And I'm gonna clean off some of the excess hot glue that kind of came out. Don't burn yourself. Make sure it's cooled off a little bit before you do that. So now that this is all, attached and not going anywhere, I'm gonna set it aside really quickly because I wanted to show you a couple of the other accessories I got from Dollar Tree. So we have a set of 6 pegboard hooks, a square-shaped pegboard tray. I've got 2 pegboard shelves. By the way, all of this stuff comes in black too. So if black is like more of your aesthetic, you can find black versions of all of these. And then another set of pegboard hooks. I found a Pegboard Cup Holder. The best approach I can think to take for this is to kind of not only have essentially the hooks and everything that I can use, but I also felt like it would be really helpful to basically pull out the tools that I want to use this for. So I'm going to use this cup part to store all my glue sticks. So I'm going to find the perfect spot for it, which I like down here, and then I'm just going to fill it up. Feeling good about how many glue sticks this thing holds. This is pretty much an entire pack. So we have our glue sticks set up now. The next thing I want to really focus on storing are things like the roller that I use. So, and then also like scissors. I have a hole punch. I also have another type of squeegee, so I have 2 squeegees. I open a lot of paint, so I've got a paint opener, a roller cutter. This is also from Dollar Tree, so highly recommend getting these. And I have a couple of these little, essentially weeders. I think that's what they call them. when you're trying to pull things up off of vinyl from your Cricut machine. So we're gonna kind of play around with this, and then when we come back, you're gonna see how handy this will be for storage. And there you have it. Here is my amazing DIY craft supply organizer that I made out of the new Pegboard products from Dollar Tree. I hope you enjoyed this project and feel inspired to try it on your own. Thank you so much for watching Home Talk, and I will see you in the next one. To start this project, we're going to need 3 of these cute little craft storage bins that you'll find in the craft department of Dollar Tree. And then I picked up these 2 12-inch wood slats. They were also at my local Dollar Tree in the craft section. What we're going to do first is we are going to take one of these bins, and we are going to be making sure it essentially stands, but it's at an angle. So we want to try and find the right angle for it to stand up properly, but also have the little baskets stand up at an angle as well. So what I'm going to do for this part is I'm going to use a pencil just to make sure I'm marking it correctly. And I'm just going to mark this top line just so I have the angle right when I go to adhere it. Okay, so what we're going to do first, put some glue here. And we're going to line it up, let that bond for a second. So we have this side ready to go. So we're going to secure the other side with the glue, and then we're going to go back in with our glue sticks. I'm sorry, with our staple gun to make sure it's reinforced. So I'm gonna make sure it's even. I'm gonna mark it again. Kind of gives me a better idea where I want to put my glue, and it just makes the process of lining it up so you know you have it in the right spot a little bit easier. So now that we have both of these in the right spot, we're going to go in with a staple gun to kind of reinforce it. All right, so now that that's been reinforced, we're essentially going to do the same thing with another one. We're going to drop it down. Want to make sure that we're creating that angle, same angle. And I'm going to use my pencil for kind of a guideline because I want to create like a very similar angle here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of glue, slide it back down, line it up as quickly as possible before the glue sets. And this Gorilla Glue is pretty awesome, so it sets pretty fast. All right, so now that this is securely in place, we're gonna do the same thing with our staple gun. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing for the third one. It's just gonna sit up a little bit higher, and then we will move on to the next step. All right, so now that this has been secured, what we're gonna do is we're going to use some stain. I'm using a Rustic Wood Effects water-based stain from Behr. I got it at my local Home Depot. What I love about water-based stain is that it dries very fast and it's water-based, so you don't have to really worry about a chemical smell, and you don't have to worry about it sticking to everything. Since this is a raw finished wood, it should just suck the stain up pretty quickly. So the instructions for this stain are that you apply it and you let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then you wipe it off, like you wipe off the excess, and then you can apply as many coats as you'd like. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably apply about 1 to 2 coats of this. I'm just using a foam brush. You can use a regular brush as well. I kind of wanted to see how it would apply. Make sure we're getting in the creases here. So we're gonna go ahead and cover this entire thing in stain, including the interior. All right, so we're gonna let this sit for a couple minutes, and then we'll wipe off the excess and maybe do another coat before we come back and we move on to the next step. And here it is, here's the finished product. So we are gonna go put this in my bathroom and see it all finished up as additional storage space on the counter. And here's the finished product. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It works as perfect additional counter space, and it definitely gives off that farmhouse vibe that I'm going for. I hope you feel inspired to try this project on your own. Thank you so much for watching Home Talk, and I will see you next time.